Hello, everyone. I'm Adam with D&D Beyond. Thank you for joining me for this week's development update and community Q&A session. If you've got questions, you can start asking those right now. We're collecting them by prefacing whatever the question is with the word question there in chat. And we're going to magically collect all those, and we'll get to those at the end. I'm going to try to leave as much time as possible. But for today's lineup, latest updates, what's going on with D&D Beyond, what we are planning to work on in the upcoming days. I'm also going to do a homebrew spotlight today. So this is an informal way for me to introduce some homebrew out there that I either find interesting or find useful in my own games. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit today. And then we are going to get into questions with whatever time we have left today. Hopefully it will be a long time. So let's see how it goes. Latest updates, extended spell lists. So this is something that has been requested for quite some time, and we've been able to deliver it now as part of the overall class feature variance development that we're doing. The first step that we have gotten to is extended spell list, and this is going to allow us to provide Ravnica Guild background spells in a more generic and better way, but then also the Dragon Mark races are able to have extended spells now. So it's been some time, lots of workarounds that we've been using for that, but now it is officially supported and everything's working properly. I think that we still have a small issue with copying over some of these elements if you're homebrewing something from them, but the team is working on that very diligently at the moment. But all of the official options here with these extended spell lists are working, and they are available at this point in time. So I saw several people jumping in saying that they had been playing dragon marked races and weren't aware that they were supposed to have extra spells. So now you have those. And so it's like Christmas morning. You go back to your character and you have some new spells popping in now, and that is good to go. We also are live with the combat tracker. So if you're a subscriber and you are part of the alpha for the combat tracker right now, we do have digital dice, just the little floating action button on the bottom left of your screen. That is now showing up on the combat tracker, and you're able to roll dice on the combat tracker itself. Of course, we will get into more integration with the dice as we progress over time, but that is a useful tool for you to jump into if you're using the combat tracker at this point. So work in progress. We do have the new options for the class feature variants are something that the team is working on. Again, the extended spell list was kind of a first step there, moving on into the deeper elements of those enhanced and new options for features there. And then we are working on random encounter generation in the encounter builder. Upcoming characters integration. So getting the full information and data into the combat tracker in a way that is not going to cripple our database. So all of that is in progress right now. We are working on getting digital dice rolling together for the mobile app. So that is also in progress. In the character builder, dice for rolling ability scores. So I actually ended up creating more characters than I have in a while lately. So like 3 or 4 characters in the last couple of days. And so as I was doing that, just thinking through, instead of just having that manual ability there, we will have a roll 46, drop the lowest and that kind of situation available in the character builder. Rime of the Frost Maiden is coming September 15th. We do have pre-order perks out there that are really nice and fun, portrait frames, all kinds of things. So if you pre-order that ahead of September 15th, you will unlock those when the book comes out. So check all of that out as well. So let's talk about homebrew for a second. So this is me going through each category of homebrew that we support and picking out something that I want to highlight. So I want to be clear here. that many of these options are some of the more popular options out there. So I am highlighting partly that, but it is also stuff that is either caught my eye, or things that I think you should check out, or things that I have used in my own games. So we're going to talk about each of these. So we've got origami as the spell. And so on this spell, let's zoom in a little bit here. We've got the origami spell, and it is a cantrip. And I love the flexibility for the cantrip. I sometimes with homebrew, it is difficult to balance what's going on. And for cantrips, especially if it's a non-damaging cantrip, that is a tough thing to do. But I really, really like the utility that this origami spell gives with the cantrip. And I don't think, again, I'm not a designer for Dungeons and Dragons, but I don't think it is too overblown or unbalanced. But really, really interesting that you can fold and animate that tiny piece of paper, and you can make these different effects happen. I also have seen players in some of my games want to add new types of folding and effects for the origami cantrip, and I have allowed that. Just let them pretty much trade in and out. So it's not like it just continues to be the most utilitarian spell ever, but you can trade out one of these folds for another type of fold. But yeah, the origami spell by, and let's see here, that is by Kale Reader. Really, really interesting spell. Check that one out, by Kale Reader. We've got the Archfey, and I call this one out. This one is by C. Dowden. The Archfey is also this is a creature that I have used in my own games. And so the Archfey is just a very good addition to what options you have out there for fey creatures. So I am a big fan of fairy and the idea of the realm of fairy. And so the Feywild and everything that happens with it, a lot of the time plays a pretty prominent role in my own games that I'm running. And so having this Archfey saved me a good bit of time that I was going to have to do this myself. And so I actually have used this as a template to do different types of Archfey as well. But yeah, I recommend checking out the Archfey. Lots and lots of fun stuff here. I really like the legendary actions that are available here. The Shimmering Shield is really nice. Bend, Luck, Beguiling Defenses, very evocative types of abilities, and really, really well made. And again, getting monster challenge ratings right is sometimes difficult, and there's definitely an art behind it. And as I have played this in the middle of games, it has at least felt right at the table, which is also a very good thing to note. Then we have the Belt of Returning by Joban, if I'm saying that right. Apologies if I'm not. But this came up quite a bit in my games too, because I have one player in particular that is an absolute fiend when it comes to thrown weapons. They want to throw weapons all the time. So this person, of course, appreciated quite a bit the third season of Daredevil on Netflix, and virtually any other form of media where someone is throwing things a whole lot and doing that effectively. And so this Belt of Returning is something that player has definitely sought and actually acquired in a couple of the campaigns. But it allows you to in its 3 loops to place some type of weapon into those, and then those one-handed weapons with the thrown property can be thrown and it's going to return to the belt at the end of your turn. This plays really, really well with some of the tweaks that I've seen out there available. And truthfully, I can't remember if it's in Unearthed Arcana or not yet. But some of the ways that you can draw and throw weapons at the same time, I've seen a ton of homebrew about that. And so if you're using that kind of approach, which again, because of this player who wants to throw things all the time, this is it's something that really, really ends up working well. So well done on this one as well, Joban. And then we have the continuing with our Fey theme, a background called the Fey Touched, and definitely a fan of this one and have used this one a good bit again because the Fey feature prominently in a lot of my campaigns. I'm a big Stardust fan too, if anyone's read that out there or at least seen the movie. But yeah, I love this feature, Kindred Spirit. Just anything that is going to help in a social situation like this. I think that backgrounds really, really fit that role in the game very well. And so this Kindred Spirit background feature is very strong. And then naturally the other elements of the backgrounds are pretty simple, but all of this really, really fits that flavor well. And then finally we have Dagger Master by Kotick, if I'm saying that right. Apologies if I'm not. And yet again, this is something that my player who is obsessed with throwing weapons has picked up a good bit. So there's a little bit of a theme here. Basically, the theme for today is you should be a Fey-touched dagger master throwing your weapons that makes his or her way into the Feywild somehow. But drawing a dagger as part of an attack does not use your free object interaction for the turn. Being within 5 feet of a hostile creature doesn't impose disadvantage on your ranged attack rolls with a dagger. So again, if you are throwing daggers, this is a great feat. And this one's gotten a lot of good feedback as well from the community. I've seen several other feats of this style out there, so there may be others, and all of you can definitely check those out. But thrown weapons, if you have someone that loves it like my player does, this is a great option for you. And then we have I Adore This One by Sar a Fey, maybe. And I didn't choose that just because I had Fey in the username. I promise. This one isn't incredibly Fey based. But the Otter folk, I think that I have often thought that you ought make an otter folk. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry, everyone. I'm really sorry about that one. That one was really, really bad. But I have a calendar just like right outside the hall here that has otters for every month. And these otters are adorable. And the thought that you could have, now I haven't had a player that has chosen this option, even though I have thrust this into all of their faces many times, hoping that someone would choose an otter folk. But hopefully someone out there will be inspired by the ridiculously cute creature that is the otter to be able to make an otter folk character. And I would love to see all of your otter folk creations. At some point, you can hit me up on Twitter or wherever you can find me, because I am really a big fan of the otter folk. I love that with what Sarah Fay did here also is all of the sub races. So you have the different kinds of you have ocean otter folk, you have river otter folk, and again, really, really well thought out version of otter folk here. And I encourage everyone to check that one out. And then finally, one more by Turk that is just flat out fun, pun intended, hero for fun. I am a big fan of certain programs, anime programs, that have heroes that are just doing it for fun, and who have incredibly powerful punches, and whose workout regimen consists of 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and running 10 kilometers every day. So this one, I laughed really, really hard as I was looking through subclasses in the last few weeks. I was actually looking for other something else in subclasses, but I came across this one and had to stop and call that one out. So yeah, you can check this one out. Or if you're also a fan of said program, maybe you want to create your own take on what's going on with the hero for fun, and I encourage everyone to do that.